The webinar is organized by the Food Partnership of the Urban Agenda for the EU. Today we have two different case studies. The first one is about the School Food for Change project, EU-funded project coordinated by ICLEI Europe. Amalia Ochoa is the coordinator of the project and also head of the Sustainable Food Systems at ICLEI. And she will explain us how the integrated approach of this project helps to or contribute to having a systemic impact on the school food system, as well as on addressing key challenges such as food insecurity, child health and nutrition, and food education. The second case study is from the City of Kranj, that is a member of the Food Partnership, and in this case Anna Vizovicex from the Office for Development and Smart Community. Is it correct? Yeah.
It is correct.
Will present the experience of the City of Kranj in improving the public food procurement for a public institution, also with a good practice in the digitalization of this process. So if you have any question, please do not hesitate to write them in the chat or raise your hand at the end of each presentation. So I will give the floor to Amalia Ochoa for the first presentation.
Okay, I hope that everybody can hear me. Thank you so much, Rafaela, and thank you to the Urban Agenda Partnership and to the partners of the Food Partnership for inviting us here today to take the floor and give you a deep dive into School Food for Change. So I'm Amalia. I am working in the Sustainable Food Systems team for ICLEI, and I'm not sure if everybody knows ICLEI, but just in case there are some people here that don't, we are an international network of local and regional governments working on a very broad variety of urban sustainability issues, and one of those is food. And today I will be talking about School Food for Change, which is a big initiative that we started just over 3 years ago. So what is School Food for Change? Well, it's about schools, as the name says. Yes, because every child goes to school, and some children stay half a day, some stay longer, some receive school meals, some sit in class with an empty stomach. At the end of the day, all children go to school in Europe, are obliged to go to school in Europe, and they are also a vulnerable group. So we found that this together justified as well, and made a lot of sense to look at schools per se. We also in the consortium of School Food for Change, a very big consortium of organizations from many different countries. We believe that school meals do much more than provide food. And I'm not going to go through all the little circles on this slide, but it is about looking at climate change, and through the food that we eat, through the food that is grown, that then comes to the plate, looking at more plant-rich meals. It's about looking at children's rights and contributing to the enjoyment of the right to education and food. It's about looking at social inclusion, and a statistic here is that in 2022, more than a quarter of children in EU member states were at risk of poverty or social exclusion. But it's also as well about public health, where here the statistics are also not very good. And almost 1 in 3 children in the European region, according to the WHO, are overweight or living with obesity, and the rates are not on the decrease, unfortunately. So it's looking at public health issues and how we can make a contribution there, and perhaps look at preventing some of these from happening in the future, because unfortunately it's also the case that children that have these issues as children, they grow into adults that continue to have these issues and in fact can get worse. So yeah, it's about a broad range of issues essentially. And this is one of my favorite pictures because we talk about school meals and the potential, and then we say small plate, big impact, and this is what we mean by that, because if it's done very well, almost or all the SDGs can fit in this one small public plate, we believe. So yeah, I think that's a nice one, and a colleague of mine often likes to hold up the SDG plate at events as he's presenting our approach here. But yeah, we also are a group of organizations in this project that have big ambitions, and yeah, we basically are wanting to have an impact on 600,000 children in over 3,000 schools in this relatively short amount of time. And for that, we have set further big goals on how to achieve that. So by prioritizing children's health and nutrition, School Food for Change, as I mentioned, public health is addressing childhood obesity and malnutrition, but also ensuring that every child has access to nutritious meals and leaving no child behind. So access to at least one healthy school meal a day is not just about nutrition. Of course, it's a very important point, but it embodies social justice and inclusion and positions schools as a frontline force against child poverty and hunger. And then it means also looking at public procurement. And as I'm not sure, you know, also this statistic, but there's an estimated 82 billion euro spent on the social food service in Europe. So it's a huge market with a very broad reach and sheer force. And we need to harness the power of public procurement of food for health in the broadest sense of the term. We need to find smart ways to emphasize food education, promote seasonal and homegrown food, and innovation in the kitchen. So yeah, that's another important aspect of the project. But we also go beyond the feeding point, which is of course a very important one, but still by integrating food education into school programs, even into the public tenders to a certain extent, fostering sustainable food cultures. This is a connecting point to farmers, soils, communities, connecting them to the meals that or the food that children eat at school. And last but not least, School Food for Change is about equipping basically the kitchen staff and all the people involved in preparing and serving the food and so on are super important. And here we're through the project, we're trying to uplift the skills of the staff involved in this very important job, because it's often the case that if you're a school cook, you're maybe not at the top of the career cooking wise, I guess. So through that, we are trying to encourage children's sense of adventure with different tastes and textures and so on. I think, yeah, in a nutshell, we aim to make school meals enjoyable and healthy for both our children and our planet. And by that, we want to leave no child behind and, of course, leave no food behind. So that's School Food for Change really in a nutshell. How are we doing this? Well, we have a very, very ambitious and committed group of, in the end, it's 43 partners, which includes linked third parties, covering 27 countries, because we are mostly, of course, focused in the European region, but we are replicating some of the actions, or they're being replicated by some cities in other parts of the world, as you can see here by this map. And so these are like 16 cities, and that includes one region and one province, together with 2 national school food networks. They are in Slovakia and the Czech Republic, and 20 replication cities. Many of the replication cities are in Europe, but as you can see here, there are a few going beyond the European borders. And yeah, so basically, how are we doing this? We call our activities, the central part of our activities, the School Food for Change triple approach. Schools can be a game changer, we feel, and School Food for Change views schools as catalysts for sustainable food system change. And essentially, the project is based on 3 legs. Firstly, School Food for Change is about sustainable food procurement, with all the different governments working in the project to do this. So it's about getting the commitment of cities, regions, national and EU level actors to include ambitious minimum requirements in their food tenders, basically. And this is like, well, it's very, very concrete, we feel, because when the public tender is won, there's good food on the plate at the end of the day. Then secondly, School Food for Change is about feeding children. It's about food cultures. It's about promotion of healthy eating, cooking fresh food from the region and in season, visiting farms, doing school to farm twinning, changing the food offer around the schools. In short, it's about promoting a whole school food approach. And I will tell you a bit more about that further on. And thirdly, School Food for Change is about the menus, most of all about the chefs and the kitchen staff in the school kitchens, which are often the largest restaurants in town. So getting down to breaking down the triple approach, with this part slide, I wanted to show you what we mean then when we look at food procurement for schools. We've broken this down into 7 sort of issues or action areas where we have developed detailed guidance on how to do this. So the first of all, it's about looking at organic production and biodiversity protection. I'm not going to explain the details of each of them because otherwise we won't have time for the second presentation today. But basically we have developed here a target. So we want to achieve at least 40%, that 40% of the food that's served, including the drinks as well, should come from certified organic sources, which are helping to foster biodiversity protection as well. Then we look at nutrition, quality, taste, freshness and seasonality, looking at the greenhouse gas emission reduction. So looking at perhaps reducing the share of animal products served, looking at food waste and so on, the packaging. Reduction of food poverty is the 4th. Then looking at the educational components, fostering food culture and culinary traditions. That's a hard one to pronounce for myself even. But then we also look at the vulnerable groups, and within this group comes also the producers, small-scale farmers are on the decline rapidly, and so we feel that they are also an important point is to target and make sure that they are able to respond to public tenders as well. And then lastly, we're looking at fair trade and decent labour conditions. So as I said before, we have developed a detailed guidance on what this means to help the practitioners that are doing the work here. So we have a publication online. We have all our resources that we've produced, of course, on our website. And here, just to show what this really means in practice, it's about, we've come up with the target and then how to achieve this. Sort of maybe a more basic level criteria, which we call core criteria, and then the more ambitious one to enable that there is enough room there for cities of different, that are at different stages. We know that some are more advanced, some are just getting started, so that there is some guidance there that's useful for different levels, and that's available on our website. And then I wanted to give a couple of examples here from the project, because as you can imagine, with such a big consortium, we are 3 years into the project by now. We have a lot of good practice to share. And one of these is on the Czech school system. and I'm not too sure if others here today know about this, but the Czech Republic is a country with one of the lowest percentage of children living in poverty and social exclusion within the EU. And where more than 80% of children are regularly eating in school restaurants. This, I think, like, it's actually amazing. These figures, they're so huge. We're talking about 2 million children being fed, over 8,500 canteens. So the school, basically the school feeding system is really far-reaching here. Here are some more figures on my slide, and I hope that I think the slides will be shared afterwards. And then there's this very different example from Umeå in northern Sweden, where the food producing sector, as you can imagine, is very small. However, here, like through the project, the city is realizing that it's crucial still that the city is able to strengthen their resilience and self-sustainability. The politicians in Umeå have set goals for locally produced food served in their public canteens and kitchens. And in School Food for Change, the city here, in terms of their procurement work, they focused on a small contract, so small in size in monetary terms, below the threshold, I think. But to use this as a small step to do a step-by-step approach to bigger steps in terms of changing the way that they approach public procurement. So by now they have entered into a direct dialogue with the producer, and the process and the challenges of doing this, of course, are very different to working with larger players on the market, which they previously had done. So yeah, it's interesting because this is a new way of buying vegetables for them, which means that the kitchens also have to work differently. It affects basically the whole chain of events to producing and serving the food. So it's a big learning process, but they are very happy with this approach, and we shall see how this continues further. And then I want to talk a bit about the whole school food approach, which is the second leg of the triple approach. And it's a framework to help schools create a food culture at the heart of their mission. So it's a 4 sort of phased approach. And online we have a lot of guidance here of what these sort of 4 areas mean: policy, sustainability, education and learning, and community and partnership. And also there it's clearly stated as well, like how the procurement process is coming into play there, so that this is developed well. So please have a look at those materials. There's also like some specific guidance for kindergartens as well, who have particular needs. And then an example here, and I'm sure I'm going to mispronounce this city in Slovakia of Kukučinova, but here I wanted to showcase this really nice case as well of what's happened there in this particular school in Slovakia, which was facing big challenges in involving parents in promoting healthy and sustainable food habits due to cultural and traditional differences. And after embarking on the whole school food approach in this school, and where they set up some farm visits, school to farm visits, so that the children could learn about the local food production through, getting their hands dirty, basically. And they also took part in some cooking classes to make it like more practical for them. You know, what happens to the food, how does it get onto the plate, and what do you do with it? They had also like a bee day where they engaged in looking at the honey production of bees. And in the end, like through this activity, it's been clear that the children, they're taking their knowledge like from school and sharing it at home with their parents, and who then are hopefully are sharing it further. So this is also another reason why we have been focusing on schools in this project, because of this different way of getting also adults to learn and participate and get engaged in eating and cooking and so on. And then this brings me to the third leg of School Food for Change, which is the cooking. And here there are some images from a school in Estonia, which is in the city of Vimsi, which is just next to Tallinn, where they had here like a very big, there was a recipe design and sensory testing activity that took place as part of the training of the school cooks in School Food for Change. 150 liters of healthy tomato lentil soup was cooked using innovative cooking techniques, which were learned through the project, including reduced content of sugar and salt. And there were more than 150 school children from Vimsi participating in the tasting of the soup. And this was also another great success. So I'm coming towards the last couple of slides, and I just wanted to highlight here a bit, going back to these big goals that we have with School Food for Change and what we have achieved so far. So we have found, like, with calculating all the many activities going on in the cities, in the countries that we're working with very intensively, that we are already impacting on over 600,000 children through all the activities that we have undertaken so far. We are reaching already close to the 3,000 schools in 22 countries. They're in one way or another, either through the procurement work, so changing a tender towards more sustainable, healthy food, or implementing the whole school food approach. That's how that is happening. And then, we have had like a lot of training sessions. A lot of kitchen and canteen staff have been involved in this. And we are developing here like a handbook on school meals and the whole sort of science behind children and how they taste food and enjoy food and so on, and recipes also. So these are also, like, just here, I'm not going to read them all out, but some of our big achievements so far. And on my second last slide, but yeah, at the same time, in the last, since the project has started, we have been very active as well at the political advocacy level. We partnered with Avaz and We Move Europe to launch a big petition to just raise awareness about healthy school meals and what if these were available for all children in Europe? You know, what if this became like an EU policy? And this is what we still hope for and strive for. And we have collected over 100,000 signatures. You can scan this link and also sign if you like today and share it further. But yes, that's our aim. And let's see how far we get. I just wanted to say thank you for listening today. And if you have any questions, please put them in the chat or write to me. I'm happy to try to answer them.
Yeah, thank you, Amalia. Thank you for the interesting presentation and also for the material that I think are very useful for us, many cities that are working on food procurement. So the minimum standard criteria are key challenges for many cities, and I think that from this point of view there are many similarities also with the experience of the city of Kranj. If you have any question, please do not hesitate to write them in the chat, or if you want to raise your hand, please you can ask directly after this presentation your question. So I don't see any hand raised for the moment. So I think that we can start with the second presentation, and then at the end we will check again the question from the participant. Okay, thank you, Amalia. Thank you.
Okay, I guess it's our turn, the City of Kranj. So I will try first to share my screen. Hopefully everything works as it should work. I'm asking you, do you see my screen?
Yeah, we can see your screen, Anna. Before starting, I have seen now there is a question in the chat for Amalia. So, okay, Amalia, so I don't know if you can hear us now, because, okay, so there is a question in the chat. How can we know which people are in different cities in charge of the Food for Change programs? So.
Okay. Yeah. I think. I mean, we have the partners are all listed on our website. I don't think we have. I'm not too sure, to be honest. Now I cannot recall. But if the contact details are there, I guess you're welcome to write to me if you would like to know that. And of course, we have to just see how we share that information. But just get in touch. But definitely the partners are all listed there. So all the cities and the other organizations that are more expert organizations working with the cities are all listed there.
Okay, thank you.
I'll put the link in the chat to the website.
Yeah, that would be my question also. I was quite upset that Slovenia is not on your map, so I will also get in contact with you, Amalia, how to maybe get some your outputs also to Slovenia. So yeah,
absolutely.
Okay. Thank you. May I share my screen?
Yes, please.
Is a proper timing now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So hello again. My name is Ana Bizovišek. I'm coming from City of Kranj, Slovenia. Today I'm going to present you one of our projects that we are doing in the food area. There is many more projects that we are dealing with. Also, some of them are pretty much the same as Amalia already explained to us. I think that all the cities and the states are having pretty much the same problems actually concerning the food sufficiency, how to get children healthy meals on the plates and so on. So just one piece of our project, how we also deal with public procurement, which is also everyday theme also in Slovenia, because we are kind of not satisfied with public procurement law, and we try to do something more, how should I say, innovative to get some more food from locals and organic production. So. You lost me. What's going on? But I cannot go with the presentation. I don't know why. I think I will need your help, because obviously something is not doing perfectly. Okay. I will try. Okay, thank you. But you can hear me, right?
Yes.
Yeah, but I don't know what was wrong with the presentation. I cannot go on with pages. Can you, Rafaela, shall I try again? Okay, maybe before you try, okay? Sorry for that. I mean, everything was working 10 minutes ago. No. Okay. Sorry, now it is working. Okay, about Kranj. This is the picture of our city. We are third largest city in Slovenia. The population, you see, it's almost 58,000 people lives in our municipality. As all of us, I believe we all follow this famous sustainable digital development goals. We as a mission city, we follow many of them, or all of them, maybe also concerning this food project, as we name it. Of course, this may be number 2 pretty close, but not just to prevent hunger, also for ensuring self-sufficiency, reducing food losses in food waste, and reducing food supply routes, and thereby reducing CO2 emissions. As I mentioned before, we are 100 climate neutral and smart cities by 2030. Here is a label on the right side. On the right side, our mayor won that label on last October. So now we are really on a mission to be sustainable and neutral and smart till 2030. If not just, we are going to try to be at that part. On that way. Maybe some facts about this GPS project. It was mentioned on the first slide. Is a special procurement project, actually, for public procurement projects for our public institutions. But why we do everything what we do or we did? Of course, we are, as you know, as Rafael already mentioned, we are the partner of our Urban Agenda Work Group for Food. As important part of activities to achieve climate neutrality is also local food sufficiency and locally produced food. That's why we are dealing with this many projects on this theme. And of course, it is really a big priority project of the mayor of the city of Kranj, because if you don't have the support of the management, then you can do no projects in I know everywhere, I believe, not only in public sector. So that is the beginning of this public procurement project was in 2020. What we actually want to achieve? We want to increase, simple actually, but not so simple to achieve, increase the share of local and organic food on the menus of public institutions. We invited, or we said to the 12 public institutions in Kranj, in 3 municipalities actually, in our municipality, Kranj, and nearby cities, Šenčur and Naklo. They get involved into this common public procurement call. And we involved primary schools, 1 kindergarten of City of Kranj, also elderly home. There is also 1 secondary school. It is a biotechnical center of Naklo. Before we started, actually, we first implemented the survey in 2019. We went to the public schools, to the kindergartens. We asked them really a lot of questions, actually. What of the quantities of the school meals, the quantities of food they buy, what was the value of the whole in year amount, how many personnel work in some public institutions, because we know that there is a lack of people working in canteens or as food organizers. What is the percentage of the local food in the meals, and of course also how do you do the public procurement so far? What we gain from these surveys, that, as I mentioned just now, that there is a lack of people working in this as food organizers or in the kitchens or the cooks. They don't have much of law knowledge, actually, how to lead the public tenders. And many other lacks, actually. Why this public procurement is not being as it should be. And also when we measure the percentage of the local and organic food, we established that many of our schools are not gaining the percentage, also by law. They must be gained. So next, our steps were that we started to cooperate with one law office from Ljubljana, from our main city. They are really specialized on the public and law things concerning the food and the food procurement. Then we have to convince also the principals of our schools that is going to be the project that will increase the local food in the schools. Also, we talk to the suppliers, because what we establish actually is that the suppliers in our schools, they don't even know each other. They didn't know each other also in person. They just deliver the foods, and the cooks took this food, and there was actually no connections. This on the human side of connection. Nevertheless, that they don't know the whole supplier's food, what they are producing. For example, just I will talk a little bit more then afterwards. We wanted also, we established also that the food ordering system was actually leading on the Excel sheets, on big Excel sheets. They were listed with foods, with different kind of food, and there are this like offer, like sorry, yeah, on the big the Excel sheets, and it was really not a systematic order actually. That's why we decided to digitize the whole this process of ordering the preparing the demands actually. How do the schools prepare the demand for the public tender, and then how the producer can apply for this demand. There also was problem of criteria of choosing some food. Normally was only the criteria was only the price. Afterwards, we decided that no, there's going to be different criteria, and we set it on 40% is going to be the quality the quality of the food, and 60 is going to be the price. To raise awareness of the local offer, as I mentioned, the schools didn't know the producers, even they didn't know the local producers. So we organized also the first year of the project, and then afterwards special events where they were organized actually annually, as I mentioned, where the local producer present their produced products to the male organizers. And from that event, then we kind of find out that there was some much more cooperation than it was before. And just maybe now this topic actually, what is this so-called dynamic procurement systems, is special way of public procurement where new suppliers can enter the system over the entire duration of process. Our dynamic procurement system was open for 5 years. That's why it's easier conclusion and termination of contracts, because previously framework agreement was 3 to 5 year cooperation. And what was going on actually in these 3 to 5 years, no contracts can be tear apart, because even though there is no good quality of the food, the 5 years it is almost impossible to say some producer, okay, we don't want to work with you because your quality is lousy, the prices are not as we determine. So this new process of procurement is much more flexible. What we did then, the other thing, we also know that there is a lack of knowledge on the side of the so-called producers and also in our schools. How to prepare the right demand in this program with dynamic procurement system. So we establish, is our external co-worker, project coordinator. There's one guy, he connects growers and producers with public institution and the City of Kranj public institutions. So this was really easier for both sides, for the producers and for our food organizers. So these public institutes, they are preparing the demands. What we also what we agreed, all public institutions, we have agreed on 12 uniform food categories, because when you publish the tender, there you have different categories, and every school has before different food categories, and we decided no, all schools in Kranj and these other 2 institutions are going to have the same categories like meat, bread, etc. And we also involved for the first years, the food catalog is a special product of our Chamber of Agriculture and Commerce in Slovenia level. In this catalog or platform, if you wanted to say me, there is every food and every company that provides food or farmers in Slovenia. This was the first actually platform that gathered all the products in Slovenia. But unfortunately, then after 3 or 4 years, we we kind of find out that there is not the catalog is not getting renewed. So there are old products in the catalog, the products that they didn't exist anymore. So from the last year, there is a decision, and we are now so far that we are going to upgrade with the new own digital products. So we are going to develop our food app for preparing the demand, and also for the producers to give the proposals in this app. So the public company operator, what does he do? What's their task in the whole project? They publicate all requests on the public procurement portal, selection of the suppliers, preparation and conclusion of the contracts, all legal assistance to public institutions. This was really one of the special moments for for our schools and kindergarten, because they didn't have this law help in this project. Okay. So maybe just a few things to say. What was the progress of the project? What we saw in the first years. Okay, we published the tender, then we gained the producers, and then in the whole year there was no communication, and we started 1 year another, and there was no progress. So then we decided that this process is really complex. So we have to lead a year-round communication process with suppliers, with producers, and food organizers. So here was the task of the City of Kranj. So we organized many meetings on live, only via Zoom or Teams. So that we'd get actually more confident, all of us in the project. So as I mentioned, we organized workshops for food organizers, professional meetings with the suppliers, individual consultations also. So after 4 years, after 4 rounds actually of these public tenders, we did again analyze after conclusions. And we analyzed the contracts that were in the schools with the producers for 2024. And we found out that in the categories of meat and meat products, fish and seafood, milk and dairy products, we see the biggest challenge to increase the presence of local suppliers. So it means that on some categories, on the first round, some schools even don't get any offers for some kind of meat. Okay, this is general problem for self-sufficiency in Slovenia, but here maybe we have some lack more to improve local suppliers. Then maybe few things also what is important for the project to succeed. All these words here are actually from our kindergarten. They are the biggest public institution in Slovenia. What is really important for some public institution, what they have to do actually, it's nothing new, but anyway, I will read it anyway. Preliminary market analysis, professional staff from various fields, nutrition, law, accounting, knowledge of legislation, it was mentioned today already, some guidelines, good practices, active participation of all involved in the preparation, and of course, realization of the public procurement. There is needed a lot of experience and precision, and available time is always a problem. And of course, the management support is one of the most important things actually. And maybe after this analyze, maybe we see the light on the end of the tunnel. Nevertheless, with the Kranj kindergarten, as I mentioned, the largest kindergarten in Slovenia, they reach almost 50% local and ecological food from quality streams in relation to the total estimated amount of foods expressed in kilograms. So with all of effort, but here really I must stress out that there is 5 to 7 people working only on this food procurement system, because in some schools in Kranj, many food organizers are also teachers. They are leading other activities, so they are really dealing the lack of time for preparing these really good tenders for the food. There may be in one school, they managed to cost reduction of food procurement by 8%. They did some maneuver with these categories, so they can't get better quality and for good price. It was really a success. So I hope all public institutions are going to repeat the same things as the Shenchur Primary School did. Then, as I mentioned, that we have this yearly events that we increase the project to involve the project to also to other public institutions. At our annual meeting of food organizers and producers, we wrote some proposal for measures. We send it also to the state and to the government. What are the key problems or issues? Actually, the better payment of chefs of any time, because the chef profession in schools is really badly paid, if I may say directly. Then also the reputation of the chef profession. The chefs in kitchen are not very reputed, or they are not so famous like the chefs in the restaurants. And then we have for sure give chefs access to the knowledge. Meals should be attractive for children. We know in some schools there are really these old meals and on the old place, and it's really not attractive to eat. Then more cooperation should be between chefs and growers or the producers. Digital knowledge is also very important for food organizers, for producer or growers. The price of lunch is also problematic, and I can say more about it, but I will stop here. This project with a special procurement system, it's kind of difficult to explain. I hope I explained it that you at least understand, and nevertheless, this dynamic project system, we also managed to pursue also our parts of Slovenia or near Kranj, that they include also in some project of the CLD project. Is the project name Local Gor. The City of Kranj is included in the project as a promotional partner, and on the 8th of March we have the conclusion of the project. Also, on the other part of Kranj, this is Coffee Luka. The project was also presented there, so I think also the schools are going to do. Also, they are going to next school year. Also, they do with the dynamic system the food tenders. So in this project Local Nagor, you will see here the logotype. We were, as a promotional partner, we did some videos with project ambassadors, and one video I will try, or hopefully it's going to work, that I am going to provide it to you now. Sorry, I try to review it now. Okay.
I can't hear the sound, Hannah, in the video. I don't know if it's a problem. I don't know if for the other is the same. Yeah, I can't hear the sound. But anyway, don't worry, because we will share the materials with all participants on the website, so they can look again. They can watch again the video.
Sorry, I didn't hear that now, because here at my computer was everything okay.
Okay,
You didn't. You didn't see it. I also didn't hear it.
No, yeah, we saw the video, but there was no sound. So,
yeah.
But no worry. So thank you for the presentation. I think it was really interesting for cities and also for the other organizations interested in food procurement and also in the digitalization of this process. So I don't know if you have any question, please raise your hand or yeah. I see something in the chat. No, okay, this is a comment from Louise. So if you have any question for Amalia or Anna, please, or if you want to share your experience or your practices in a different cities, or please, you can raise your hand. And Anna, in your city, I don't know if you realized some satisfaction survey for family, and how did you how the perception or satisfaction changed about the school meals in family after or during your project? I don't know, you have data about the satisfaction of family about the programs and the change you introduced in the school meals.
Yeah, but actually we didn't do any surveys to the parents already, because we said, okay, it's going to be the 5-year project, and then we are going to do such things. So as we discussed with teachers, I say, and the principals, actually they both have a little bit much more to work than before. This was also once a minus, actually, but on the other side, they are satisfied, and are really satisfied that they can get to contact with these providers more as it was in the past. This was, I think, the best progression. This app and the digitalization of the process, we need some more time to get in that they're going to be satisfied. So no, the first answer is actually no. We didn't talk to the families already and the parents. So yes, okay, but we'll do that, of course.
Mm-hmm. Okay, there is a question from Georgiana. So please, Georgiana, you can open your microphone.
Yes. Hello. Can you hear me?
Yes, perfect.
I'm Georgiana Sima from Cluj-Napoca municipality. I've entered the webinar because we have a similar project ongoing here in Cluj. It's called Turn the Tables. And the principle is similar because we want to provide the more sustainable food using the local products for our schools and kindergartens. But the main problem here in Romania is the fact that the main criteria for the public procurement is the price. And therefore, by being forced to choose products with a lower price, we cannot legally purchase the local foods for this. So we are starting with an analysis of the legislation. And I wanted to ask Ms. Anna if in your country this was a problem at the beginning of the project, and how do you succeed to join forces regarding the public procurements for all of your schools in your city?
Yes, as it was on my presentation about this criteria, it was allowed in Slovenia. So we asked to the Ministry for Public Tenders, for Ministry for Finance, actually, whether we can do other measurements beside price. So that's why we have our criteria is 40% is quality and 60% is price. But this quality is also so not too tight, actually, really tight, because there is only among this quality measurement is only this, we can check the certificates of the providers, the certificates of the origin, the certificates of quality, and we also don't know what kind of certificate. Okay, Slovenian certificates, okay. But we have also a lot of providers. We call them such. They are distributors. They offer everything, actually. It is local. I mean, it is organic, but it's not local. And they have some suspicious also certificates. And there we have a problem, actually. So, but we are dealing now with the problem because we have also new nutrition trends in Slovenia. They're determined by law. So the schools, they have to follow this nutrition, I don't know how to say, nutrition obligation, actually. So we are thinking now to beside these certificates, we're going also to measure the providers from contents of sugar, contents of fat, and everything. This we want to put in the process of measurement of the quality on the quality side. But there we have a problem. So I think it's not yes from our government. So maybe if I answered the question, maybe on the second part, how we manage to get all the public institutions, or a lot of them, it is so that we are establisher of the public schools and kindergartens, and when the mayor said, the mayor says, so they have to be the part of the process. So from that part of view, it was easier, but okay, it wasn't like that. Of course, on the beginning, it was no, we want to go to on the old way. It was everything okay, but now they saw that there is some progression. Actually, yes, they're really cooperative, and now I think that once a month we meet with all in the municipality with all food organizers, and then they talk among each other. They talk about the providers, how they are, what they're trying to do, everything to not to get to deliver the good quality foods, because they are really, some of them are really trying everything. Actually, some providers we are really not satisfied with them, and it's so difficult to break the contract with them. No, this is the problem also. Yes, but not in Slovenia.
The contracts are made directly by the municipality with the providers, or by the schools and kindergartens with them?
Yeah. This dynamic progressive system was published by municipality. We are the main contract partner, but when there are contracts, when the business is done, then there are partners, there are schools and providers. Yes. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you. You can contact me, no problem. Maybe we can share some mails and so, no problem.
Yeah,
because
at least to see the regulations or the main legal part based on which you are doing this.
It is, yeah. It is an issue for sure. Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
Amalia, if you have any other suggestion or recommendation about this point, so the price and criteria, I know that there are specific guidelines, but if you want to add any recommendation about this point for the cities.
Maybe just to add, I don't know the Romanian law, but according to the European directives on public procurement, other criteria can also be included to award contracts. It's written in sometimes I think it's a bit of a weird way of putting it, but most economically advantageous tender. Which is not, I mean, anyway, like you need to be, of course, a legal expert to understand the directives fully. But it does somehow imply like just like the price, right? So it's, but at the end of the day, with the case law, it's also clear that other criteria can be included. Of course, price has to be included also. Not to say that you can disregard that, not at all. But like under quality, that's quite broad, and then that can enable certain kinds of criteria like regarding sustainability. But it's a very gray area and definitely unclear to a certain extent, and that's why in the guidance that we have developed, we also put a lot of good practice cases in to complement, because one thing is giving the guidance for the tendering, and then the other thing is sometimes how it looks in practice. So yeah, I don't know, like maybe it's worth to have a look at there, but also like we are working in different sort of somewhat different frameworks as well to a certain extent, because of course at the EU level it's the top level guidance, but then somewhat a little bit adapted differently in the different member states. But yeah, so.
Okay, thank you for this suggestion. We should close the meeting. So if there are any other questions, of course, you will find the presentation and the recording of the webinar on the urban agenda for the EU website, and you can contact the speaker for a specific question about the project they presented. So I don't see any other question in the chat. If there are no other questions, I think we can close the webinar. So I thank you, Amalia and Anna, for your interesting presentation, and we will publish your material on the website. And if there is any other question from the participant, we will let you know. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
If there are no other question, I think we can close the webinar. So I thank you, Amalia and Anna, for your interesting presentation, and we will publish your material on the website. And if there is any other question